Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I need RV advice.
It's Just Ask Gigi with Gigi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's Gigi and Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask Gigi. My name is Tom Alexander, and of course, as always,
Hi.
I am joined by Gigi Stetler. Hey, Gigi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. And we are
Grand, of course I am.
grand. You're grand. You're always grand, and that's good to know. Busy week at the RV Advisor. Lots going on, and I know that you've got some stories and some news to share with us all, which is great. Of course, as always, we've got some questions for you. So let's get right at it. Everything going okay over there at HQ?
Actually, it's been an extreme, and today is only Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, Wednesday recording.
Yeah. And it's been quiet through the weekend and up the last 2 days or so. It's been, RVs are on fire. I don't, hopefully our listeners are listening, but it's on fire, and our industry, finally, we're going to get the respect that, that we deserve.
Yeah.
People are no longer looking at RVs as, things of the past, your grandmother, grandfather's RV. It is the way of the future, and it's finally getting recognized as, isolation, social distancing. I mean, we're winning on all of those grounds to, have more parks open up and more campgrounds open up and things like that. So it's really, really, really looking up, because it's kind of being well respected throughout every community now, as far as, people being able to, be isolated, social distancing anywhere you go, which is amazing.
That's for sure. And I know that it's like you said. I mean, it's been in the news and it's everywhere. People are the RV industry itself is riding a wave. I guess you could say right now.
Yes, but now is of all times is now to be really on high alert. If you're in that market to buy an RV, and it all the more you need to be an RV Advisor member, and you need to hire GPS services, because I actually have to say that in the last 4 or 5 days, I helped many customers in review of their contracts, found language that needed to be crossed off, and we're actually getting respect now, and the dealers are actually doing it. And the dealers are actually taking my calls and allowing me to talk to the dealer to please take care of my customer, because they're saying, that I hired Gigi, and I'm on a first name basis throughout the country now, which, the whole reason of us doing this, being, having this association, the RV Advisor, is I want the dealers and manufacturers to be more scared of me when you flash your membership card that you have protection. They're not pulling the shenanigans. And I mean, I actually have 5 happy customers, just 5, whole experience went without a hitch. And I was so excited, because I've been cleaning up the messes, and getting, looking at contracts after the fact, and that's just, but now, there are, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new buyers, I think a day throughout the country. And we really need, the dealers are going to get sloppy, and they're going to not, they're going to sell these things as fast as they can. The manufacturers are behind in production, so they're going to cut corners and do whatever. So now we've got to, do our due diligence and be careful.
Yeah, we certainly do. And, I think that, more than anything, people who aren't necessarily, RV enthusiasts, or even veteran RVers, they're starting to like, their ears are perking up, you know, it's like, hey, they're seeing this, they're seeing this. And,
Time buyers, yeah, they're newbies.
yeah, and of course the news of our RVs as isolation units, which we always chat about, but we'll follow up on with the in fact, one of the questions I have today is about that, which I'll ask you in a little bit, but about having the RVs as isolation units. Now I know that we'll take a break, but I know that when we come back, you've gotten a lot of interest from last time. With some of the viewers about some of the issues that you went out into the field with. We acknowledge the fact that we did have a little issue with sound on that. It was a little loud in the bay there where we.
My shop is. If we don't have the exhaust fans, you won't even be able to breathe in there. So
yeah, so the exhaust fan, right? The exhaust fans have to run, but at the same time, it's like a catch-22 because
and the thing is, I had to have it in. I know, and I had to have the unit inside the bay. Number one, I think it was raining, and number two, it was open to the elements, so I had to. I didn't want it to leak, so I had to. I had to do that inside, so I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. So, but we're actually gonna catch the visual end of some highlights of that situation, and you're gonna chat about it. You're gonna actually talk over the video, so we'll have a little bit of a narration, so to speak, and it'll be a little more palatable to the ear than having the big exhaust fans going. But we'll talk about that when we come back from the break. And of course, we have your questions. This is Just Ask Gigi. She's Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. Back in just a moment. RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended Warranty Plan. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. We are back on Just Ask Gigi along with Gigi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. And Gigi, I know last week you went out with our operations manager, Christina Hurst, to take a look at an issue that was plaguing a particular unit, and we were able to sort of look at that. But we're gonna hit a couple highlights now, and let's go out to the video. Before we do, so why don't you set it up? Just set it up.
Okay. So I had a lot of messages. I think there was one or two comments on our page, but then I had a lot of private messages. And I had, many people saying that calling that there was no caulking and that the factory doesn't put any silicone on it or sealant or anything. And they were saying it was a manufacturer's defect. And I wanted to be super, super clear. That is not a manufacturer's defect. And I don't want anybody to just not adhere to what the owner's manual tells you, but to ignore anything like that, thinking that it's somebody else's fault, it's the manufacturer's fault, and not do anything about it, because there still is what's called, mitigating your damages, or potential damages. So I don't want people to, I had so many messages about that. That's a manufacturer's fault, but what are you going to do? Wait for it to fall apart and then you go back and, go after the manufacturer? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's not a defect, it's put together with putty tape. And I'm telling you that, that is the only way to put it together. The putty tape has to, expand and contract. And then when the putty tape, is after 30 days, 60 days, the putty tape, tends to dissolve. That's when you put the silicone on it, or whatever kind of sealant, depending on the material that it's fiberglass or aluminum or whatever. But it is not a manufacturer's defect. And I just don't want, there were comments and stuff, and I don't want people thinking that is the case. And that customer was a first-time buyer.
Yeah.
And had he had hired me prior, he was not only first-time buyer, he'd never even seen an RV, had no idea what to look for or what questions to ask. So had he had contacted or hired me first, I would have, had him do a FaceTime and show me, the seal and walk around it. And I would have told him immediately to have that dealer seal it right now.
Yeah.
But that didn't.
Yeah. And again, we say this, I think ad nauseum, every show is, don't wait until a problem happens. Call the RV advisor today, contact the RV advisor, get GPS, whatever fits within your budget. All of it helps. And it's an important thing to have. It's that insurance policy that is all valuable. And it really is, because the last thing you want to do is be traveling and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have a problem. And
like the 3 customers that we had today called and wanted to buy roadside, and they were on the side of the road. I can't tell you how many times. I can't tell you how many times and how many calls we get.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, when you're a flat tire on the side of the road or you're broke down, you Google roadside assistance to come pick you up. And of course, we probably pop up on the internet, and then they want to buy it and think it's going to go into effect that minute. No, they do not cover. No insurance, no coverage covers pre-existing conditions and problems. So, please buy that roadside assistance before you get on the road.
It is
That's the investment you could possibly make.
It is critical. So let's go out. Let's go out now and look at the highlights.
This off, and they apply new sealant all the way around. This, and then if you look over here, if you bring your trusty little camera up to the side here, if you look here now, imagine the rain coming sideways, which is what's happening. Like the sealant is on the top.
Well, there you go. Good description. And we were able to see some of the issues there that have some closure now. We can see at least where all that's all gonna go. Let's jump into some questions here, Gigi.
Awesome.
We've got a few, so let's get at it. From Anne. This is from Anne. A male-dominated industry. Obviously, we know that in RV. What made you go into the RV business as a woman?
It was an accident. I had no intentions of being in the RV business. I didn't even know what RV stood for. The letters RV, I had no idea.
Yeah.
A mentor of mine, a friend of my mother's, had purchased a piece of real estate, and it was an old, it was an RV dealership, but they were going out of business, and he had purchased the real estate, and there were RVs still there. So he had kept one of the employees just to try to liquidate and get rid of the RVs that were there, so we can develop the property. I was doing something else at the time, and he had asked me to come and get rid of these little houses on wheels, I called them, and so we can develop the land. And one thing led to another, and I sold one, and then I took a trade-in, and then I had an ordered unit, and then next thing I know, I'm in the RV business. So that's kind of how it happened.
Wow. So
33 years later, I'm still here.
Here you are. I mean, it's funny because sometimes the things that we wind up doing in life, we didn't necessarily plan on. It probably was not in your yearbook description, or
Definitely not.
Those kinds of things. You just don't know how.
And it was when I first started, there were 20 dealers on my street, all men, and they all sat around. The first dealer meeting I showed up at, these fat cat, good old boys, cigars smoking, scotch drinking guys were sitting at a table when I showed up at the first dealer meeting.
Yeah.
And I walked in with my high heels and my ponytail and my shorts or mini skirt, whatever, and I'm like, hi, I'm here for the dealer meeting, and they're looking at me like I was 24 years old at the time, and so I started making suggestions, and then the one guy, I guess he was the president of the association at the time, he looked at me and he said, little girl, you need to go home and bake cookies. This is no place for you.
Oh,
so the next 3 months, the next 3 meetings, because they were always preset, they held a meeting the day before or an hour before or this or that, and I show up at the meeting and they'd say, oh, we had that yesterday, we had it an hour earlier. And then I just decided to do my own thing, and then one by one I just started putting dealers out of business and making them work to compete with me. So, I'm the only one standing, by the way.
Now they're home baking cookies.
Yep, and I'm the only one still standing.
All right, I like the sound of that.
Yep.
Next one is from Joe. What would you say is your favorite place to camp? That's interesting. You've gone to a lot of, I'm sure you've been a lot of places.
Well, besides next to my horses. Uh, that
Okay,
is
so your horses come first after
my
that?
horses come first, so I usually park my bus next to a horse show, right
Mhm.
next to, as close as I can get to the horses. But if I'm not horse showing and I'm camping, I would have to say, oh my God, I have a lot of fun places. But the Keys, you know, the Keys of, because I can't get away that long.
Yeah.
The Keys is probably the best. The Florida Keys,
Yeah.
just the best. Local close to home that I could go to the Keys and park right on the water. Key West, there's the only place that you can have the ocean on one side and the bay on the other. And
Yeah.
we used to bring the jet skis down. So it was close enough that we could bring two vehicles. So we'd have the motorhome and
Right.
jet skis, and then other friends would bring boats. And oh, it was just great. And you just catch fish and cook them right there. It was great.
Terrific.
That's probably that in Fort Wilderness. You
Yeah.
never ever can get tired of Disney and Fort Wilderness.
Yeah. So there you go. And one more we have, and this actually speaks to a very current situation we've got going on now and have been for a couple of months. Mark wants to know, what has the feedback been with all the RVs and the RVACA has donated to help fight coronavirus? I know that obviously a lot of units have gone out to help folks. What have you been hearing from the front lines?
I mean, they're incredibly grateful for, us providing this housing for them,
Yeah.
but it hasn't come with its own drama, I should say, because
Yeah.
a lot of, I mean, I probably have another stack of about 25 to 30 healthcare workers that I'm struggling to place because homeowners associations aren't letting the RVs in the neighborhood, and just, you know, it's just unbelievable how selfish people can be. So we're fighting with a lot of ordinances, county ordinances and city ordinances about RVs being parked temporarily in their front yards, so that they don't infect their families. And people are more worried about the view and what that's going to do to the neighborhood. It's beyond words right now that I have been battling that, you know. So that's been our worst feedback of, fighting that. Not only are we fighting the disease itself, but now the homeowners and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I know that, you look, in any kind of an emergency or crisis or whatever's going on, someone is, most likely going to be inconvenienced. But, but, look at the greater good, be a little selfless and think about everybody that's benefiting from you having maybe a slightly obstructed view for a little while, but it's just it's got to be, it's got to be what it's got to be, and keep in mind, folks, it's not forever. It is temporary, but it's great to know that those RVs are going out and helping people on the front lines. Let's not forget that we're still dealing with this thing. I know the news
It's
has
shifted.
has shifted. It's been pretty horrible out there for the past I don't know now 10 days or so.
Since last Monday, I just want to touch on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Going out to the Floyd family,
Yeah.
it's the most horrible thing to ever have to witness, or to view on national television, and a man's death. And it's beyond me that here we are in 2020. It's still battling, with racism and stuff like that.
I know.
It's
I know.
just awful.
It is awful. We'd like to think when you look at a year, I mean, I remember growing up and thinking, wow, and gosh, 2020, 2000, even back when we were kids, seems so far off. And you just thought like a lot of those, we were going to just brush past so many of those kinds of problems. But clearly we're still.
It's been covered up, and I have to say that the Floyd family's family lawyer, Mr. Ben Crum, he's a personal friend of mine.
And I know that.
And yeah, we actually did a town hall in Washington together with Blind Justice, and we actually were speaking a lot about this very, very subject, and he was also the Trayvon Martin lawyer, and he's brilliant, but it's just, we've got to all come together. there's no such thing as blacks and whites. We've got, we're all humans, and some of the protesting is, the peaceful protesters are just, they've just got to keep marching. And I truly believe, that change is going to be on the horizon. I really truly believe that. Just looking at, how they're coming together, how the blacks and whites are coming together, and how that man in Washington, that the man that lives right next to where they were spraying that pepper spray all over, and all over those peaceful protesters, and the man took them into his house, 70 complete strangers, and took them into his house for the night because of the curfew, and they were all with their eyes stinging, and it was just unbelievable. So I mean, that's a hero,
That is a hero. And we talk about selflessness. That's
do.
selflessness. That's really being a brother or a sister, or it's having those kinds of, having that empathy, those kinds of situations, and kindness is irreplaceable.
Be kind right now. Be kind to everybody. We need, we need that so badly. And as RVers, I believe that RVers are truly the, for the most part, the friendliest, nicest, friendliest.
It's a wonderful community. We talk about that all the time on our podcast, and
so
how
awesome.
It's amazing. So awesome. Yeah.
Compared to going, like, I know for one thing, I won't go to a hotel anymore. I'm very, very comfortable with going in my RV. But, if you think about it, when you go to a campground and you're, getting ready to back into your site or pull into your site, the neighbors all jump out and they start spotting you to make sure you don't hit anything and stuff like that. And then, you could leave your wallet on the picnic table by accident, and the neighbor will stare at it and make sure nothing happens to it. And, and nobody would take it anyway, because it's just, they're just a different, mindset of if they don't care if you're black, white, brown, purple, green, whatever. It's just great.
As it should be, as it should be. And we certainly, I know that, I know, speaking for everybody at the RV Advisor and the RV ACA, that we certainly hope things evolve in a real positive way, and we start reaching out, and things improve on a daily basis, and we want all that, and of course, COVID as well, naturally, because it's such a critical thing, and we're hoping every day we keep our eye on that as well, and want to be able to make progress on the research and all those things. I mean, we're and helping each other. One thing we got to remember too is, as important as these protests are, we need to be careful with COVID. We got to make sure we got the mask on. That's a challenge. That's a challenge.
And,
I'm afraid to say that I think we might see a little bit of a spike in some areas. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
If you feel the need to get out there and protest, just please at least stay protected and wear a mask. Wear a mask, wear gloves, do the best you can, and try to stay far away from someone that's not wearing a mask. I mean, at least I think, if you stay protected, at least you've got, a little bit of a chance of not, spreading it. And, there mostly are young people, but that doesn't mean anything, because they're, they could be asymptomatic and bring it home to their parents or somebody that is a little bit,
exactly. So yeah. No question. It is the problem.
That's
so
the problem.
Yeah.
And we won't know for 2 weeks or so. So
very true. So do the right things and try to be safe as safe as possible, is both being out there and letting your voice be heard, as well as, thinking about your fellow person, your fellow brother, your fellow sister, with being protective. Anyway, we want to let folks know that if they want to contribute again to the RV ACA, either donating an RV unit to be used temporarily for isolation housing for people on the front lines, or if you want to make a monetary donation, by all means, we welcome it. It would be wonderful if you can help out. It is the rvaca.org. That's the rvaca.org.
And if you own a vehicle already, make sure you get that registered. You know, every day the recall list is growing, and it's just, you know, all kinds of information that, you know, we want to log your vehicle in. You know, that's $50 a year to register your vehicle, and keep that vehicle on our radar. But that gives you, you know, our full legal department and all of that if you need help. So, but get that vehicle registered, and then don't forget to join RV Advisor.
Yes.
Before you buy that RV, you know, if you don't have one already, you know, so you can get I just caught an insurance policy. Somebody bought insurance, and I told him to make sure he had stated value, and the agent told him he did. And I said, send me a copy of it. And I looked at it and I said, sir, you don't have it. They actually had the box checked. No.
Yeah.
And he didn't catch it. He didn't catch it.
Yeah.
I caught it.
Well, that's good. And again, that's, you know, listen, it's all part of everything that comes with being a member, and signing up for the RVA, for the RV Advisor. And that's the rvadvisor.com, the rvadvisor.com if you want to go there. And again, rvaca.org. I know it's a lot to take in, but you can do it. rvaca.org for the nonprofit arm of everything we're doing here. So we really appreciate you tuning in and watching another episode of Just Ask GiGi. GiGi, as always, I love to see every week. I look forward to doing this every week. Soon.
Hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
That would be great.
Your butt's going to be back here.
I hope so.
And we're going to go back to live, because I really miss live.
Yeah, live is fun. Live is definitely
yeah.
We can really.
We have prizes to still give away. We have vendor prizes.
We do have prizes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we need to do that. But it's much easier to do that when we're live. So
it is.
Yeah. So we will plan soon.
All right. Sounds like a plan to me. That's good. A plan is a plan. For the one, the only GiGi Stetler, I'm Tom Alexander. This is Just Ask GiGi, and we'll see you next time right here on Facebook. Thanks for watching, and our site, by the way. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.
Peace out. Bye.